Good afternoon, Keith Tebow from FRCMedia. Thank you for joining us. We've talked a lot over the past year or so about plans for Diman Regional Vocational Technical High School to build a new school on Stonehaven Road. That process is moving forward. Last month, they received news from the state that the state will reimburse over $145 million of the project. And now the next phase is getting buy-in by the communities and the people within the four communities that Diman serves: Fall River, Westport, Somerset, and Swansea. We're going to talk about that outreach campaign right now. I'm pleased to be joined by a couple of individuals who will play a key part in this. I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Elvio Ferreira. He is the superintendent at Diman Regional Vocational Technical High School, and Deb Kenney, who also works at the school but is also part of leading the outreach effort. I appreciate you both for joining me. Thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Fine, thank you. Thank you
Let me
for
start
having me.
with you. I've talked a lot with the principal there, Andrew Rebello, on the project, and fill us in on the need of needing a new high school after 50 years of the old school being on Stonehaven Road.
Sure. Again, thank you very much for having us here this afternoon. The project started in 2018 when we sent our statement of interest to the MSBA. The main problem we have is severe overcrowding issue. The current campus was built in the 1960s. The original footprint was built for somewhere between 600 and 800 students. In the 1980s, there was an addition that was done that brought the enrollment to about 1,000 students. We have over 1,400 here now. And the reason we can have that many students here, there's been some strategic adjustments to our campus. We've utilized every square inch and transformed it into educational space for our students and for our staff. The need for a new Diman is critical because our technical areas are very much below the recommended square footage by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. The same is true for our academic classes. The square footage of every academic class is significantly below what's recommended by the state. Our cafeteria is original and it's outgrown. The population has outgrown the usage of that space. We have 5 lunch periods a day for our students here. We start as early as 11 o'clock in the morning and we go to 1:30 in the afternoon because we don't have the square footage to put more than 225 students in our cafeteria. The mechanicals here at the school are mainly original. The heating and the air purification systems here are original. They've been retrofitted throughout the years, but they are way below the expectations from the state at this point. We also have inadequate ADA compliance. Again, the school was built in the 60s. We've retrofitted the building with some lifts, but we don't have proper elevators. We lack in certain areas when it comes to those kinds of things. The system does not have a sprinkler system. The campus does not have one, so it's out of regulation for the modern day schools. We have original asbestos. We have an AHERA plan, which we treat our asbestos every year, but getting rid of all of it hasn't been done. So there are still areas of the school that have the original asbestos situation in place. Obviously, those are contained, so they're not dangerous to folks as they come through the building. But they do lead to infrastructure problems every time we have to do something with technology, wiring, electrical. We have to take that into consideration as we go through. Every time we do a renovation to this building, we have to take the abatement issues and the encapsulation issues into account. We have transformed storage areas into classrooms. We've transformed closets into academic areas, administrative areas. We've moved our LPN program off campus in an effort to try to make Stonehaven Road as adequate as possible for the high school students that are here. Those are a few of the issues that have come up. Again, our locker room, our gymnasium, all of those things are original to the 1960s. So we've basically outgrown this current footprint. And then knowing the state of technical and vocational professions in the Commonwealth and across the nation, so many of those folks are retiring. So many of the industries have needs for skilled labor force to come out. It's what Diman has done for the past 100 years since its inception in 1912.
Right.
It's what we see moving forward. The governor has stated so, the president has stated so, and we're trying to put ourselves in the best possible light moving forward to fill those gaps as they become, relevant in the next decade or so.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Dr. Ferreira, in terms of, the need is obviously there. Um, I guess the next question is why now? Could this have started a little earlier? Obviously you're taking advantage of the state Massachusetts School Building Association that's providing funding for this. So I guess why now, and how important is it to move on this right now?
So we actually started our statement of interests in 2010, I believe was the first time we sent one up. We did 7 in a row before we were actually granted entrance into the program in
Mm,
2018. So the now has been a long time coming. We've known for several years, almost a decade now, that we have really outgrown Stonehaven Road and the current campus footprint here. It's just a matter of getting support from the state and the state agencies to try to get the reimbursements where they need to be, to get the funding where it needs to be. So we've gone through this process 8 times, and again on the 8th time we were allowed in. So the now is most important at this point because again we know doing our labor market analysis throughout that there are critical shortages upcoming in significant professions, including plumbing, electricity, carpentry, metal fabrication, advanced manufacturing, and significant other areas, nursing, especially with everything that's going on across the globe right now. So it's really important that we take advantage of our opportunity. It doesn't come along, every day where the state is willing to chip in 50-ish% of a major project such as this one. And knowing the mission of Greater Fall River Vocational and Diamond Regional specifically, our job really is to fill in those gaps as they appear and have a workforce that is ready to take on the needs of society as we move forward.
So I guess the next steps are going to be now gaining approval by the 4 communities to move forward with the project based on the criteria for the funding from the state. That needs to be done by April 15th of this year. Dr. Furr, talk about what has been done thus far in terms of communicating with Fall River, Westport, Somerset, and Swansea to get the buy-in that you need to move this project forward.
Sure. So we've started active communication since 2019 when we entered feasibility to make sure everybody was fully aware, all the communities were aware of what was going to be required by the district itself and then by each individual community. We've had several meetings with the town administrators, with the mayor, to make sure everybody was fully aware of the schedule, anticipated costs. We've had projections out to folks for over a year now in a situation where there wouldn't be any unknown coming forward. It was tricky at some points because we didn't know what our actual grant number was going to be. We were uncertain about the actual project costs. So for the past 9-10 months, we've been working with our program managers and our design team to fine tune exactly what our design was going to look like. Started off, very lavishly with several wings of a school and a price tag that was not necessarily appropriate for what we needed. We have translated our needs into a very compact design, 4 stories, very locally constructed on our current football fields. We were able to bring the price tag down to what we felt was an appropriate number at 293 million plus or minus for our project. But we're increasing our square footage. We're approximately 250,000 square feet right now. Our new project will have us over 375,000 square feet, which would bring all of our technical areas up to the state recommended square footage. It'll bring all of our academic areas into that same realm as far as the recommended square footage by the state. It'll bring us up to recommended areas such as science and technology. Right now, we are far below science labs and different areas such as that. It improves our media center and our technology. It improves our cafeteria, our auditorium, obviously ADA compliance issues moving forward. So it brings us really up to code. And we actually looked at fixing our existing building, and it was actually more expensive to not add a square inch to this particular building, but bring it up to code. So we also looked at an ad reno, which is fixing what we have and doing in addition, and that actually proved to be more expensive as well. So going through this whole process, it was deemed and voted upon that a new construction was the most appropriate situation for us moving forward. But we have been, again, in communication with everyone. December 15th did come where we finally got our grant. The MSBA gives you 120 days to get everything approved without an extension. We've been working with the 4 sending communities since that date, since December of 2021, to make sure they had the appropriate times to do what they needed to do as far as approving, disapproving special town meetings, whatever the case may be, from the local governance situations. And we are moving forward with the projects to all 4 sending communities. We've already met with Westport and with Somerset as far as Board of Selectmen. We're meeting with Swansea tonight, the 25th of January, and we will be in front of the City Council at their first February meeting in a few weeks.
Yeah. So it's important to note that the way it's laid out, there's actually 2 parts of this, where by April 15th, the communities have to approve or send some sort of disapproval. There actually needs to be a vote to disapprove the project for it to actually be halted. And if any of the 4 communities do so, that will stop the project. Is that correct, Doctor?
So the district, Diamond Regional, has 2 avenues it can take under Massachusetts general law. One is what we're doing now, where each individual community has the right to vote and decide to disapprove the project. The second avenue, should our school committee deem it appropriate, is to hold a regional vote, a regional referendum vote, where the region acts as 1 versus 4 independents. Our regional agreement requires us to do the individual situation first. And again, should that not pass, if there's something that comes up where a community decides to disapprove the project, it then comes back to Diamond Regional School Committee to decide if they wish to do the regional vote moving forward or not move forward at all.
Yeah. All right. So that'll be something that'll be looking ahead, and that goes above and beyond actually how the communities will pay for the project. And we spoke before we started recording. The city of Fall River is going to be looking to contribute over $190 million over the 30-year term of the loan project, and that will not start until what, at the earliest, 2024. Is that correct? When the communities may be asked to start to contribute?
That's correct. Our borrowing schedule has us borrowing 3 amounts, about 30 million the first time, about 110 million the second time, and then a third amount to close out the project. And that's a cost saving measure that we're paying attention to. So that way you don't have to borrow all, 147 million all at once. It does defer the cost annually for a little while. We are looking at 2024 as being the first assessment year to the sending communities if the project moves forward.
Yeah. I do want to get to Deb has been sitting there, and I do want to get to the outreach to the community project. But one other prospect of this project. But one final question, Dr. Ferreira. As you know, there have been a number of high schools built in our region within the service area: Somerset, Fall River, Westport. How difficult is this going to be to try to sell this, not only to the politicians in those communities, but also to the people of those communities to support funding a new diamond?
So we generally take it in 2 veins. The first one obviously is the cost measure by itself, but knowing what Diamond Regional brings to the Greater Fall River community, we feel it's extremely important that the students that come through our hallways and go through our school system are prepared in the best possible way. We have a tremendous cooperative education program that works with a wide variety of employers. Our students tend to stay local even upon graduation, whether they stay in their field or they go on to post-secondary. So we know that our process really supports the Greater Fall River region, and the support of the communities is going to be critical to maintain that moving forward. Additionally, we look at it as kind of an equity situation. We have large percentages, large numbers of students here from all 4 sending communities. those communities individually are really reinvesting in their students locally by creating these new school systems. We would look for support from those communities as well, as we have approximately 85 Westport students here, 150 from Somerset, 130 from Swansea, and over 1,000 from Fall River. As those districts independently do what's best for their students, we look for them to do collectively what's best for all students involved, which obviously takes into account the students that are here at Diman Regional. So the support of those communities is going to be really important, and the statement of all students deserve what's best, and that would include our students here at Greater Fall River.
Yeah. All right. Let me talk to Debbie now for a few moments about the community outreach. You're chair of a committee that's working at, talking to the community, talking to people in the community that, may have a say in this moving forward and the value that Diman brings to our region. Talk a little bit about how that process has gone thus far and what's been done in terms of getting the word out about the importance to the community of having a new Diman.
Having me involved in this conversation. I just need to make a slight correction when you introduced me. I am no longer an employee of Diman Regional. I am actually a retiree.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I retired a year ago with almost 29 years of service. So, and that's an important distinction because the outreach committee has to be totally independent from the school district. And I have no affiliation except for the fact that I am a retiree. So the outreach committee is required by the MSBA to be financially independent and to its role is to educate and inform the public of the needs of Diman Regional High School. We're very fortunate that I have a very good active committee of retirees, businessmen, and we have been very fortunate so far to get a lot of community support from some local banks, credit unions, and again, some businesses that, especially that employ Diman graduates. So one of the things we did is we hired a consultant who has been successful in other campaigns, such as Durfee's New High School and Westport's New Middle School. And we have created a website. We have done videos. So people, I ask people to go to buildingbengalstrong.com, our website. We are in the process of getting very active out and talking to community members. I've spoken to the chamber, and I along with Dr. Ferreira, have been to the Board of Selectmen, and we will go to the City Council. And so it's, this is a difficult time to do an outreach campaign with COVID certainly being very rampant right now and people being very cautious about having people physically close to one another, which is why this worked out so well. But, we've been very fortunate, and I've known this for all the years that I worked at Diman. Diman has a very positive reputation. And that's a wonderful, wonderful asset to have. Even when we visited these local communities, they themselves will expound upon how important Diman graduates are and how well they have done and how well we've been community members in terms of doing projects for the community. So we have been out in the community for as long as I was here. And so we have a lot of positive feelings toward us, and we hope that will transfer into when there are elections. So we're starting a campaign of house signs. We have bumper stickers. We have paraphernalia where it talks about some of the most important issues involving the building of the school, and that's where we're going. We may or may not do a mass mailing. As Dr. Ferreira mentioned, these elections are going to come up very soon. I believe the first one is probably going to be for around Valentine's Day. So timing is really short. It seems like it, as Dr. Ferreira mentioned, we took years and years and years working on this. And now that, the December 15th happened, which was a very important day, the decision by the MSBA to fund us. Now time is running really short, and we're in the middle of a winter and the middle of a COVID. So we have some challenges. It will be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. This involves money. I think the overall purpose, I think people will be very supportive, but we're coming on the heels of a new school in Somerset, a new Durfee, a new Westport High School, and we know that Swansea has some needs, and they're also in the pipeline as well. So we are excited. We're very positive. We've had great responses from the community, but we also are very realistic. We know this is a hill to climb, but it's such an important hill. And as Dr. Ferreira mentioned, all these towns and school and city have done very well to build new institutions that will give their students the best technology and education that they can possibly have. And we want to do the same for those students that are here.
Yeah. No doubt about it. So let me just ask you in terms of some specific constituencies. I would think that Diman alum over the years would be someone that you're tapping into and really want to get their input, because they can literally tell the stories of their success, correct? So how do you plan on using, let's say, alumni to help get the word out about the need?
So we've been very active. There are two major active groups at Diman, the Diman Alumni Association and Diman Foundation. Many of those members are members of my group as well. And so there's been a lot of active communication. A lot of that was, we have a Facebook page, and I encourage anyone who would like to participate or know more information to go to our Facebook page, which is, again, Building Bengal Strong. And they have been very active. We have, today I talked to an alumni from 1981 who has been wonderful, and he's a graduate of our graphic arts program, and he has been extremely helpful in trying to support us and to help us with signs. So we have a lot of information out. As I said, we've been very active since our Facebook account went active. And we hopefully will soon start a campaign for house signs. Again, challenge. People don't usually put up signs in the middle of winter. They're not really made for the bad weather, but we're going to do that. We want people to know that we want their support. We're willing to provide any information that they could possibly need, myself or Dr. Ferreira, and that we are very committed to this endeavor. This is really important. This is in many respects a one-shot lifetime opportunity. Dr. Ferreira mentioned the grant. That's a gift. That's an enormous gift. We were eligible for the greatest percentage of reimbursement that you could possibly get from the MSBA. The MSBA is considering lowering their reimbursement rate in the future. So if this doesn't work and we wait a few years, number one, we may not get as much money. Number two, the interest rates, which right now are the lowest they've been in many, many years. So this is our time. Everything seems to be pointing toward this is the time when we need to show support for Diman. Diman, we're very fortunate. Diman creates graduates who are many small businessmen. And I know that Massachusetts is supported by many, many small businesses. And the vocational schools help create the stream of more small businesses. So we are at a very good point. We're at a turning point, and we really need people's support. We understand the financial implications. Having been the business manager for a long time, I know what it's like to go to all of the town meetings and ask them for support of our budget. But they have always been so supportive and so cooperative, and we're looking for that in the future. So I ask anyone who is interested in joining us in our endeavor, to go to our Facebook page, to go to our website, again, buildingbengalstrong.com. And if you are interested at all in helping, we can use as much help as you possibly can offer. And that's the best way to contact us.
Yeah. Definitely a tight window here, but one for many people will consider a worthwhile endeavor, without a doubt. Diman being a staple in our community, as Dr. Ferrer said, for over 100 years, and of course at its current site since the mid 60s. So I want to thank you both for joining me. I'm sure I'll be back in touch with you to get updates as we move along, and all the best as we move forward on a new Diman. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate your time. Take care.
And thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great day.